So, in the state of Nevada and California, and probably 14 or 15 other states, no identification is required to vote for president and do your voting. It seems kind of bad, right? Like anybody can just go down there and pretend to be pretty much anybody they want. They could pretend to be your neighbor, they could pretend to be you, they could pretend to be anybody and just cast a vote, right? Well, actually, no, that's not how it works. The system is actually pretty darn good, and I'll explain it to you right now. So, when you go to one of these voting locations, you're going to be standing in line for a few minutes, probably waiting for your turn to vote. When you get to the front of the line, you're going to stand before someone that has this little like laptop, computer, tablet type thing with them. And if you want, you can give them your ID and they will scan the code on the back, which will pull up all of your information on file at the Department of Motor Vehicles for your state. So they have your address and they have your signature and everything else that they need to verify who you are. They're going to ask you some questions. They're going to show you your address. You have to say, yes, this is my address. They're also going to ask you if you received a mail-in ballot. And if you did receive a mail-in ballot, you have to check a little box that says, I agree to destroy the mail-in ballot when I get home because I'm voting in person today. When you're done doing all this, you're going to give your signature stating that you understand it's a felony if any of this information is false and you're pretending to be someone else and you're, doing this not as who you actually are. And then you have to give another signature. Now that signature, they're going to look at that signature right then and there in front of you, and they're going to compare it to the signature that's on file at the DMV. So if the signature that you give right in that very moment matches the signature that they have on file for you at the DMV, you will vote. If it doesn't match, guess what? You don't get to vote. They say, I'm sorry, ma'am, I'm sorry, sir, but the signature that you just gave in front of me does not match the signature that we have on file for you at the DMV. I apologize, but you will not be voting today. You're going to receive something in the mail, and whatever it is that they're going to send you in the mail is some way to resolve the issue so that ultimately you can vote and that won't happen to you ever again. So that's how the system works. That's why you don't need to have an ID when you vote in these states, because you can just give them your information. You can give them your first name, middle name, last name, birth date. They probably have some other questions that they can ask you to validate and verify who you actually are. And then right then and there, they will check your signature on file with the DMV with the one that you give to them in front of them. And if it matches, then you'll be allowed to vote. So it's not some bogus pea-brain system where anybody can do it, and anybody can just pretend to be anybody that they want. It's only going to work if the person who gives the signature is who they actually say they are, and they can verify that information. So, and now earlier I said that you had to check a little box that says you agree to dispose of and destroy the mail-in ballot. Well, let's say that you did not destroy that mail-in ballot and you went home and you tried to cast another vote for the person that you already voted for. Well, guess what? They're going to catch that too, because those mail-in voter ballots, they are unique to every person. They're not like generic ballots that, anybody can just fill out and anybody can sign and just send it in and the vote's going to be counted. No, there's actually a code on the mail-in ballot too that they scan that will pull up your information, and it will also pull up your signature on file with the DMV, and they will match it with the signature that you gave when you brought in your mail-in ballot. So it's not like people can just get their hands on dozens and dozens of these mail-in ballots and just vote for whoever they want and give whatever signature they want. None of them are going to go through because they're going to check those signatures, and they're also going to check to make sure that this person who sent in this mail-in ballot did not already vote somewhere at one of the physical locations. So, this is so many people right now are just up in arms about, this election and the process and no ID. And they think the whole thing's a bunch of BS. And, you tell them, well, they're checking the signatures. So, and they're like, oh, who's checking these signatures? Nobody's checking these signatures. Yeah, they're actually checking them right in front of you before they give you the little plastic cards so that you can go over to the booth and cast your vote. So, yeah, it's a fine system. They can validate who you are. And even if there were a few people that were like slipping through the cracks or whatever and actually getting away with it, they would be committing a felony to do that, first of all. And then second of all, there would have to be enough people willing to actually do that to swing the Electoral College in one particular state. Like, you would need thousands and thousands of people on one party side who would be willing to do that and actually get away with it in order to swing the election. And then, of course, even if you had like a few thousand like Republicans who were actually going to the booths and pretending to being something else and someone else and like actually risking becoming a felon just to cast a vote for Trump or whoever they wanted to vote for, all of those votes would be washed out by the volume of Democrats who are doing the same thing. There's just no way it would work. You wouldn't be able to have enough people on, one side versus the other side that would be able to actually swing an election. With the Electoral College, it's like state by state. It's not a popular vote for the entire country. And even if it was, all of those votes, they would still be just washed out anyway because you'd have people on both sides doing it. So anyway, yeah, they're checking your signature at the voting booths, guys. They're doing it literally right in front of you. And if it doesn't match what they have on file at the DMV, you're not voting.